What are we called again?
Are we the
Weebuwus.
yeah
Weebuwus.
Weebuwus.
There we go. Okay, here we go. Going again. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Weebuwus. My name is Ryan.
I'm Emil.
I'm Chevez.
So that being said, the three of us here today, it's going to be kind of a lighter episode. Last episode was just everyone kind of getting to know us, kind of how we all got, started and how we all met each other. It's kind of a continuation of that. You can find a little bit more about us in terms of the anime we watch. We all started this podcast because, we have a big, liking. We like a lot of, Japanese culture, and a big thing of Japanese culture is anime. And anime essentially means, like you heard in the last episode, anything that's a cartoon in Japan. Anything that's a cartoon in Japan is considered anime. But there are, there are tons of different genres within anime, like a stupid amount. So this episode is just going to be us talking about kind of the genres that we like, the animes that we like to watch, and just kind of stuff like that. So I would like to get started real quick. I just want to say, I was telling you guys before, right when this lockdown started, I got really heavy into Gunpla. For those of you that don't know what Gunpla is the model for Gundam. And that. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying you're not I also had a bunch of Gunpla, got through this the last couple of years, and a big part of it is because of anime we're watching from when we were back in the day when we were youngins.
Yeah. Those, that's one of the biggest genres that I like. There's a couple, there's a nice amount, a big chunk of big time genre animes, and those are shonen, shoujo, seinen, ecchi, harem, isekai, mecha, and slice of life. Gundam's about big old robots. So I fell, I've always loved stuff like that, dating back from Super Sentai, Power Rangers. I loved the Megazords and stuff like that. So when I found out that there was a cartoon when I was younger, I was like, oh, anime's cartoon, in my head. And I was like, there's a cartoon all about big robots. And I've just been, I've loved Gundam my whole life. It's just when I got older, I started to really follow the lore. I'm always on the Wikipedia page correcting errors and stuff like that.
Oh, you're one of those.
Absolutely.
He's like, there's inconsistencies here. I need to fix
this. It's like, oh, wait, that actually holds 32 gallons of fuel, my friend. Ban him. Don't let him edit for the next 60 days.
Permaban him, please, Wikipedia.
But yeah, for me, Mecha's huge because it started with Gundam, and then it went into Evangelion for me. And I was telling Emil before this, I approached Evangelion the way that I approached Gundam. I was like, oh my gosh, big robots go boom, boom, shoot, shoot. It's not that. Evangelion is
far from it.
Decode a physics book that's written in a dead language. It's great. And everything's like a mecha kind of seinen anime on the top. But then you watch it and there's all these twists and turns and stuff that's going on. Quantum physics gets involved. It's what reality am I watching? Who am I? Am I exist anymore? These are all things you experience watching Evangelion. But Mecha is a really huge one for me. That's kind of what got me started with the series. But of course, not the series with anime, but right along with Gundam and Mecha. Dude, I don't know about y'all, but I'm like a Dragon Ball junkie.
Yes, sir.
You're talking to a man that owns a Goku workout tank top, and I have definitely worn it to the gym multiple times as well.
Hell yeah, dude.
And back in high school too, man. Y'all remember my Super Saiyan 3 Goku t-shirt too?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, because Dragon Ball is one of those iconic. The series Dragon Ball, because it's Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT.
We don't talk about that one, all right?
I was gonna say, we don't talk
about GT.
Yeah, GT. I don't know about that, Chief.
But it's there. But because for most of us, that was the end. Once GT ended, that was it. We're just I guess
what is this?
It.
What is the Super Saiyan God nonsense? I only rock with my SSJ4 Goku.
Hey, real talk. SSJ4 Goku looked dope. I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, design-wise, that shit was fire.
It looks really cool. And I was actually watching recently. Oh my gosh, is it Dragon Ball Heroes? It's a web series, and it's based off of I think an arcade game in Japan. And it's just like fan fiction battles. It's like someone did like a Dragon Ball universe fan fiction, but it's like what would happen if like Goku and Vegeta from the main universe, and they're going Super Saiyan Blue, meet Goku and Vegeta from a different universe and they're Super Saiyan 4, and then like Goku Blue fuses with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. What would that look like?
Yeah, it's all like the concept arts, right?
Yeah, it's like someone just hopped on DeviantArt, like write that down, and then they wrote it like a web series based on that.
It's like, what does Super Saiyan 10 Goku look like? I'm gonna draw him right now with like super long hair.
There was one series. There was like someone like sat down and drew it. It was like a web manga of like a Dragon Ball series. I don't know if you guys remember. It was like back in the day, like I think right around when Dragon Ball GT was ending, someone was like writing their own fan Dragon Ball series that had like Super Saiyan 12 and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it was like
it sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it was like it was big. It was big. People were like slobbering all over it because it was just like, it was cool. We had just finished off like a huge part of our life, closing out the book that was Dragon Ball,
and then we moved on to the parody series,
Mm-hmm.
the abridged series. Oh, those are so good. The DBZ abridged series. Oh my god.
What's it called? One of the voice actresses that worked with Team 4-Star, she's like a professional Funimation, or just like not Funimation, but like she's a professional voice actress now. Amber Lee Connors, I think she did a lot of the Team 4-Star stuff, and she does a lot of voiceover now, which is kind of cool to see. Like someone start out, doing stuff like that, and then translates into, making it your career because that's her passion. Same thing with Kira Buckland. She voices, oh my god, I don't want to mess up their names. 2B from Nier Automata. I think she's Hydra, and I keep forgetting the name of that anime. You guys probably know this one. It's the one where like the dude's vampire lad. I think that's what it's called.
Vampire lad?
Yeah, it's like some like dude's like a vampire, but he's like an otaku, and like some like girl falls into like the afterlife.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. She plays Hydra Bell in that. She has a ton. Oh, she's Eris in Konosuba.
Oh, true.
Oh,
Eris in the Konosuba English dub.
I won't lie to you, Ryan. Dub voice actors are like so unknown to me.
Oh man, see,
I am a clear sub watcher.
Which is, and then that leads to the eternal debate. That's not really a debate.
But I will say though, it's just I prefer the sub, but like I do remember like growing up, like when we like had it on like 4Kids and then like Toonami and all that. So like a lot of those we were watching through dubs, which like which is cool. Like we got to see a lot of anime that way. But I actually wanted to ask you guys, because I remember we did talk about Dragon Ball Z and Gundam, but do you guys happen to remember what was the first anime you guys actually watched? Or like what kind of got you really into anime?
Ninja Scroll. No. I saw it at youth group. No, for me it was actually it was Gundam. My uncle didn't really, he wasn't like an anime watcher, but he liked robots and stuff like that. So he somehow was showing me when I was like really young, like one of the very first episodes of like the original Gundam series. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So for me, it was Gundam.
What would you, Chevez? Do you kind of remember?
I think I kind of touched upon it in the previous podcast, but I think for me, I'm pretty sure it was when I was, like I said, when I was being babysat by my sisters, and I think what they had put on was Cardcaptor Sakura, because I was really young. I was probably like around like 4 or 5, so I was still in the kind of like watching like Power Rangers and all that. And then coincidentally they had it, and they're like, all right, let's watch this, just kind of keep my attention off anything and not cause any distraction.
Fingers in your tongue inside the outlets and stuff like that.
I know, right? It's like, this is a fork. What happens if this goes into this outlet?
Yeah, but for me, I've been thinking about this like the last like couple weeks, just because like this is on my head, because I've been watching, because like there was a period where I wasn't really watching too much anime recently, and since I'm getting back into it, I was trying to remember like what actually started it off, because I remember when we recorded the last podcast, remember how I was talking to like how like Ian and Wally, like they had a big influence on like that got me into anime or like manga, or what got me interested, and I really kept thinking, and I was like, man, I feel like it could be like the most basic answer. It's probably like Pokemon or something. The like,
Oh,
remember like all those 4Kids shows? So it was like
Yeah,
what
Sonic
Pokemon,
X.
Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, One Piece. Y'all remember the One Piece raps?
Yeah.
The OG One Piece.
The OG
rap?
One Piece.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude. Articles, those, Uno, like, yeah.
Dude, that One Piece rap was legendary. But
that shit was. Whew, damn.
Now that you see, like, it's funny, just like to like a super fast diversion. You see like what One Piece looks like now, and you think, how the hell was that on 4Kids back in the day?
like who like greenlit that from Japan? They're like all right, America, you can do 4Kids. You can do your own version of One Piece and do a rap song. I was like,
It's just like it is the most
oh my god.
non-kid friendly show. Like once it gets later on, just like with some of the stuff, and I was like, yeah, man, just throw it on 4Kids, man.
That actually that reminds me. There's one time I was over at Ian's place. We were hanging out with Wally, and then he was watching like Nostalgia Critic or something, like, or Angry Video Game Nerd, and then they were reviewing the Digimon movie.
Oh,
And the Digimon movie also has a rap scene in it. The Digimon rap. Oh man, it was so bad, but it was so good.
that was the Digimon movie that had the Bare Naked Ladies song in it. It's been 1 week since you looked at me, because that's how I found out about that band.
Yeah, that's right.
They had that, and like they're all like trying to get to somewhere important, and like they're like running through the streets and stuff like that. And I was like, man, what is this absolute banger, Dad? And he's like, that's Bare Naked Ladies, my like busted son. And I've been a fan of the band ever since then. But yeah, so like, but yeah, you were saying, Emil, like you're getting like you're saying.
I actually. Oh, it just kind of hit me. I actually think I do remember what was kind of the first anime I was watching, because I used to like whenever they would like babysit us together, like with some of my like cousins and like little siblings, like in our group, we used to all watch Sailor Moon together.
Sailor Moon.
I have vivid memories of me as a kid just going Moon Prism Power.
Also had some good music.
Yeah, there were pops back then.
Oh, yeah, so I definitely do think Sailor Moon is probably one of the earlier like animes like I can recall that like I probably actually like remember like actually watching like straight, kind of remembering, aside from like Dragon Ball and like whatnot.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon, Digimon. You know, you got your staples, right? Yeah. Then you sprinkle into Cardcaptor, you sprinkle into Sailor Moon, and then how can we forget about Hamtaro?
Yeah, Hamtaro, man. Craziest ecchi anime of them all.
Right?
Hamtaro was that boss, dude.
Yeah, dude, Snoozer, Penelope, Panda, Howdy, Oxnard, Bijou, Boss, let's go! I used to have the Game Boy games.
Right? Oh, man.
Dude, Oxnard, man.
Yeah, Oxnard. Do you remember Tokyo Mew Mew?
Yeah, I do. I remember
like they changed it when they brought it to 4Kids, and I saw, I was like, that's not the name. That's supposed to be called Tokyo Mew Mew. Like when I was in
What did they name it though?
Huh?
Did they change the name here in the US?
Yeah, it was like Mew Mew Force or like Mew Force or something. It was something that was not Tokyo Mew Mew.
They had named it
Mew Mew.
They had made it sound kind of like very similar to, what was it, like Precure or whatever? It was like something. They made it into a new force or something like that.
Mew Mew Power.
Wait, what?
Or like Mew Mew. It was something like that. It
Oh
was
Mew Mew Power. I think it was Mew Mew Power.
I was like, what is this, man? I was like, this is not what I signed up for. Where is the blood and guts? I wasn't reading Tokyo Mew Mew. I was reading Hellsing, and so that's why I was really confused when that happened. I was kidding.
Yeah, so many good shows that were on 4Kids and Tsunami.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, like you're saying, that was the doorway for a lot of people like that. And Tsunami, like, you know, like Tsunami had Inuyasha, Alchemist,
Full Metal.
You know what else there was on 4Kids that is like, I feel like is a low key like sleeper anime that a lot of people forget about. That was like really good.
Which one?
Shaman King.
Yo.
Oh, they're redoing that
they're
right
remaking
now.
it though. Yeah, I can't wait, dude. The trailer looks
gonna be
pretty good.
The people don't know the hype of the original like lineup back then. It was like what, Yu Yu Hakusho, Shaman King. Oh man.
Like those are the ones that you got up early to watch, or if you were doing Toonami, stayed up late to watch.
Yeah, those late
Fridays
nights.
because Fridays were bangers because you would stay up late at night and you'd watch like FMA and Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball and Toonami at night. Then you'd wake up early in the morning on Saturday to catch Shaman King, you know, Sonic, Digimon, all like on like the other channels the next day. Like I remember that. I remember that grind, like going to bed late, waking up early so I could watch all my anime and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the
Oh, yeah,
Saturday
dude.
morning anime. Ooh.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Saturday morning cartoons, that shit doesn't exist anymore.
Hey, I was just about to ask. I was like, wait, is that even like a thing anymore? Like,
Nah, I don't think it's a thing anymore.
Not anymore.
like even now, it's like I know now it's like what Disney XD is Disney XD even a thing?
I don't
know,
even
like
think
for a
Disney-
hot minute they were showing anime there too, but
I don't think so, dude. Like, I don't have cable. I never had cable. You know, like my favorite anime characters growing up were Maya and Miguel because I didn't have cable.
Miguel.
Yo, I remember those.
Yo, bro. It's
What you know
Maya
about,
Miguel. Oh, I remember that shit.
What you know about them Dragon Tales?
And
Dragon Tail.
Dragon
Holy
Tails.
shit.
All the boys love the Dragon Tail. I remember I used to get really mad because Ord was my favorite because he was like
Mhm.
big and blue, but he was just such a big old bitch, man. Like, Ord was scared of everything. And I remember I was watching this episode. He's like, I'm scared of the dark. I was like, you can breathe fire and eat people. Go out there and
The dragon.
close the door. Like, I'm in like Lord of the Rings dragon mode. I'm like, you know, like Smaug from the books and stuff like that. I'm like, that's what you're supposed to be, bro. Go out there and put in work. He's like, oh boy, Quetzal. I'm too scared. I'm so scared. I don't know why Ord turned into Colonel Sanders, but still, catch my drift. He was kind of a loser.
Yeah, it was a struggle for him. It's like, come on, man. It's like a dragon of all things. And you're gonna be like this?
Exactly.
This shit. Some shit's not adding up, Chief. Something's wrong here.
Man, those were the shows, man, dude. Dude, that's how you know they blended anime with like American cartoons so well. You go from like watching Dragon Ball Z to watching like Clifford the Big Red Dog the next day. It was like such a good mix.
And then what was Emily Elizabeth was her name? What's it? And then the Difford left their family and they left from New York City. I remember like in Clifford there was like a dog called T-Bone. He was like a hood dog.
T-Bone. Yeah. Was he the bulldog? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, he was the bulldog. It was T-Bone. Matt was like a really asshole-ish blue dog. He's like, hey there, Clifford, you're kind of a loser. I'm like, Clifford could bite your head off, bro. And then, oh my gosh,
there was a girl dog too, wasn't it? What was her name?
I forgot what her name was, bro. But I think she was voiced by She was voiced by, you know what?
She was, but wasn't her? She was also in another show too, wasn't she? Oh my god, was it Cyber Chase?
Cyber Chase. Oh, that show was goated.
Moving, they're beating Hacker and his gang.
Damn, shit, we're reminiscing now.
Yo, we we should save this talk for later, dude, because I feel like we need like Ian on this when we talk about like 90s and 2000s cartoons, because I feel like
Ian would break it down. He'd be like, listen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let's save that for him.
We can talk about Rocket Power and whatnot.
Oh, nah, you know what? I'm gonna stop right here. All right, yeah, we're gonna have to leave this for next time.
This is gonna be we talk about this again later. But I was actually just looking up online to see what was on Toonami. Do you guys remember they had their original anime they had back in the day? It was IGPX.
Oh, was that the racing one?
Yeah, it was like the mech racing anime.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I remember like watching it and I was like, oh, this is such a cool concept, and then like it like disappeared and I was all like, why? It was so good.
Do you know what took its place, bro? X Arms, baby. So today we're talking about X Arms.
No, I refuse.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm a dip. Disappear.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna head out.
Oh, what else is good?
I've heard
Zatch Bell used to be on Toonami.
Oh yeah, Zatch Bell. I remember that.
Did you guys watch Rave Master?
Oh, Rave Master. Yeah.
That was the first.
That was my jam, dude.
The guy did Fairy Tail did first.
Mm-hmm.
That's a throwback. I need to watch his new series, or it's her. I don't know.
Oh, Eden Zero, or
yeah, I read the first. I read the first like 3 or 4 chapters of it, and it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. I mean, his art style though is really good too. Like he's definitely got like a very not
It's like
familiar, but
a
more of like an iconic.
it's a very distinctive like art style.
Yeah,
that
they're
he did.
distinctive.
Remind me
Yeah,
of the One Piece art style, and I feel like
Yeah,
it started out as a lot, and then it like transitioned into his own thing,
yeah, yeah.
and then it became like its own standalone. Because I remember, like when I was younger, I was at Borders. For all of you kids out there who remember Borders, I was at Borders
store that
down.
let you just sit in the store all day and read all the manga for free.
Yeah,
For
and then
real.
unless it was in plastic, but then like they didn't think to put all the manga in plastic, so I would just sit there. I think I read all of Full Metal Alchemist for free. I don't think I purchased a single. I would just go after school with my buddies to like the Borders, and we just sit there reading manga all day long.
Dude, Borders was up, man. I mean, you can still do kind of the same thing with Barnes and Nobles, but it's not the same vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's not the
Especially
same.
that it's COVID's around now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't go to Barnes. Oh, we can, but you know,
It's just weird now.
it's weird.
Plus,
Yeah.
they closed the Barnes Noble right up the street from my house. So
Oh, rip.
Did they?
yeah, dude, they closed the one right there in downtown Evanston, bro.
Oh, I'm surprised.
That's what I'm saying. That was like a staple, man. That I can't believe that stayed open. I can't believe that closed and the Potbelly stayed open. Are you kidding me?
Potbellies is powerful, man.
Yeah, probably. Oh, don't even get me started on fucking Jardinera too. Oh my god, I'm salivating right here. I'm suffering out here in
Dude, right,
California,
right.
dude.
Dude, all you have to do, right? You get a grilled chicken and cheddar
That's my go-to. I would get that all the time in high school.
with the jardinera. Woo! It's perfect. So good.
Oh, so good. Oh, guys, wait, Emil, on that list was Dot Hack on Toonami?
Oh, Dot Hack. It has to be
I-
100%.
I
It
don't
has-
think it was on Toonami. I think it was on Adult Swim.
Oh,
Oh, that's
was
right.
on
because it was
That's
even
right. There
later.
was a distinction between them.
Don't-
That's
don't-
right.
Don't forget about Adult Swim, yo. That's when we got the darker anime. That's when you get like the Trigun, the Cowboy
Yup.
Bebops.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's where they done, like more adult animes. We per se.
Yeah, definitely. I forgot about Adult Swim.
Yeah. I was actually looking at the list, Ryan. I feel like you would appreciate this as a Gunpla lover. They had G Gundam and Zoids.
Dude, Zoid.
Zoid.
Bro, Zoid's making a comeback. I actually almost purchased Gajul's Giga. Like it's like a giant like looking wolf. Or no, Gajul's Giga was like a giant T-Rex.
Yeah,
Zoid.
no, it's the
Yeah, I
one
was
with
gonna
like
say,
the
like-
helicopter arms, right? Or like the spinning wind blade
Yeah.
thingies.
Yes. Well, my cousin Chris had a huge model of it when I was growing up. I was like, yo, Zoid was that stuff. Zoid's
I
was
had
really
I have a Liger Zero still actually.
Liger.
What? That was it. That was the OG Liger
Dude,
Zero.
Liger Zero. Dude, I was actually looking up the other day because I was like, after we were talking about like what kind of when we were like if we were gonna do like something about Gunpla or whatever. So I was like, I kind of want to see how much a Zoid kit would cost, specifically like a Liger Zero. I think the armor alone for like the Panzer or like the remember how it had like 3 forms?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the green one, I think the armor set alone cost like $100. The blue one was like
Makes sense.
120, and then the orange one was like 140. Plus, on top of like the Liger Zero model, that was like $150.
Yeah, with the white.
Damn, that's a
Yeah,
pretty
dude.
penny.
And I was like, oh man, dude, this is why Gunpla is so much cheaper.
It is because I
But
mean, Gunpla
Gunpla
has-
is more available, I feel.
It is, and Gunpla is a little more successful than Zoids, and Gunpla has the grades. But I'll save that for a whole. When we do like a figurine.
People don't know about that
Yeah, go for
Liger
it.
Zero life.
Dude, man. But
It was that was the OG anime where you had the mech being like a little diva and doesn't want to cooperate with their owner.
For
Come
real.
on, what the hell, dude?
It's like, wait, are they
Oh.
Pokemon actually? The dude actually don't have the badges to control their own Zoid? What the fuck?
He's like, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't feel like working today, so have fun trying to win this battle while I won't function for like half the fight and clutch it at the end.
Right.
Restaurants. It's a server. Have fun serving this party of 28. I'm gonna go eat a bunch of bread in the back. Try and sober up.
Man, see, dude, I feel like we were spoiled when we were growing up. I feel like we got so many of like what people would probably consider like masterpieces or like the all-time classics. Like we got all that growing up. Like even if it wasn't like obviously like even if we didn't prefer it like dub, like we still got it though. Like growing up, and this was like at a time when it was like it wasn't cool to be into anime.
Yeah,
Yeah, for real.
Bro. Like,
Like you don't. Yeah, like you'd only have like 3 or 4 friends where you could really talk about like anime and I mean, hence there's only 3 of us here right now.
Right.
We were
We were those 3 people.
we met each other in high school. We didn't talk to nobody about it.
I mean, we had
Yeah.
people we talked about in like high school, but I feel like out of like the whole friend group in like high school, I feel like we were the ones who were like really only into because like
Yeah.
you had us right who were like deep into it, like we were actually kind of watching a little bit of everything, and then obviously like you have your friends who are like only into like the big 3 at the time.
Yeah.
So like you know, One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto.
Yeah, or they would be like, if they did still follow it, it'd be like the really basic, or not basic, but the more like common ones like Pokemon
Not
and like
not
anything that's already ingrained itself in culture already.
no
Yeah.
no offense, but you know the people when they follow just like Dragon Ball or like whatever.
Yeah, this is. I was watching Dragon Ball.
Did you guys have a preference amongst the big 3?
I think
I'm kind of a Holy Ghost kind of guy, you know.
I think for me, shit. I mean, I've always loved One Piece, so I'd have to say I'd have to go with One Piece. But between Naruto or Bleach, fuck, that's a hard question.
Because for me, I personally, I think the way I kind of look at One Piece kind of had that longevity for me, or like I've kind of liked it the most throughout. But I feel like Bleach was the one where like I really liked it a lot for like a shorter period. So like the peak of it where I liked it, I was really into it. But then obviously when Bleach was like going downhill, like that was it, and then it ended. And then I still haven't actually like I kind of regret, but I wish I actually did start like Naruto when I was younger. Because like now I feel like I have such a hard time starting it. Because whenever I start it, I like start stop or like I'll read a couple chapters of the manga and then like you know I don't really get far. But that is something I plan to do this year. Like I do plan to watch all of Naruto because that's the one I feel like I actually missed out on like growing up.
I feel it. I mean, it's probably especially if you're reading it too. Like, I guess that's a pretty big difference too. Like back then, like I'm fairly certain back then everything was still being like hand drawn on like paper and pen, right? Like everything was still being done. Not like it wasn't like digital tablets and stuff wasn't as prevalent compared to nowadays. I think that also probably is why in my opinion, there's a kind of big difference in quality too between animes back then and anime now. Because like back then it was like, all right, you know, they have to like actually like animate everything paper pen. So whatever they put in, they're gonna put in like their absolute best effort. But nowadays, I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit about artists or anything like that too. But it's like nowadays, it's like, oh, I fucked up, I accidentally messed up a drawing or a line. I'll just undo, and then you know, oh, cool. I don't have to spend the next 6 hours redrawing it.
Like the animation these days are like phenomenal.
Yeah, animation house. Whew.
But I feel like there's that like charm to it, like you know the older style. But do you sometimes like you want to like there's like something on your anime list, right? Like watch list, and it's like an older one. Do you guys sometimes have that like hard time getting back into it because of the art style?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe for me, I mean, I've kept up with it even into like well into adulthood and haven't really stopped. So I guess for me, it's like almost second nature. So for me, I'll just dive in and I'm like, all right, cool. We're vibing. We're chilling.
Yeah, I'm more of a story kind of guy. So like I don't really care how it looks. Like if the story is interesting enough to keep me, like I couldn't care less if it was stick figures. Like I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna
Yeah, I feel like we're all kind of the same way. Like, you know, we do genuinely enjoy like the story of it. But I definitely know people who are like, oh, you got to watch like something like Cowboy Bebop or like Samurai Champloo, right? And then they'll watch like, but you know, kind of know how like anime is what like those type of animes were paced a little bit slower before.
Yeah.
So then like I feel like a lot of my like newer friends I've like you know made who are like into like maybe a little bit newer into the anime scene and they're like, oh, I want to get into some of the classics, but then I feel like I have to be careful whenever I recommend something like Cowboy Bebop or like a Trigun or
because they may
something
lose
else
interest.
like that. Yeah,
because of the art
like,
style or something.
The art style is one, and then because like obviously you can be like, oh yeah, my first anime I ever watched was like Attack on Titan, or the first anime I watched was like Demon Slayer, or like My Hero Academia. Like you know they have like a set standard of like how pacing should be. At least a more modern pacing, and then how they're doing modern storylines and art style. Then you throw them something like a space opera, Like it's like a slow burner, but the story is phenomenal. Like, and then like the art style's a little older. I mean, like I've seen people like just be like, oh, it's not for me. I'm like, oh, okay. That's why it's kind of interesting how that dynamic kind of plays out, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because, like, doing theater and, being in the acting realm, we noticed that, like, a lot of the older pieces that, like, some of these playwrights would do, like Eugene O'Neill or, like, Shakespeare, like, some of these, like, big name guys, they or big name players, I should say, they, it's like the same thing. Their stuff is a lot longer. It's a lot more drawn out. And when people perform this, it's usually the youth who are like, "Oh my gosh, is this over yet? Like, this is just dragging." And then you see, but those same people will go to like Hamilton.
Or even like Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, like
Exactly. They'll go to that and
newer
just be like,
productions,
"Hey,"
right?
yeah, exactly. And like, granted, musical theater and straight theater are two different things, but like musical theater has that pacing, like you're saying. It's almost like it is musical theater is like that the newer animes where the pacing is fast. There's never like a down moment because there's always a song to come and pick it up and just keeps driving. As to where some of the older pieces, it's like it's character driven, it's story driven. They want you to sit there and think about what's going on the stage and really like connect with the characters. So yeah, no, it's just like something I drew together, like a piece together as you were saying that. I was like, oh, this is very real. It's just something cool to see, like with this newer generation and mostly anything. Attention spans have really shortened across like for like everything.
Yeah, and then I actually
Yeah.
kind of like found it interesting too, because like with JoJo, right? Because
Yeah.
like JoJo obviously is an older manga back in the 80s. But the anime, like at least the recent adaptations, have only started since like the 2012 or
Yeah,
yeah, so
Kind of around there, yeah.
2010, right? And it was like an interesting because like I'm only on part 4, like I a couple episodes into part 4, but like when I was watching like part 1 and part 2, it kind of felt more of that like, oh yeah, it was kind of like newer style where like the story was still there, but it was like at a quicker pace, like a lot more things were going on.
yeah,
But then as soon as like part 3 hit, I was like, this is good, but it feels so long. And like
yeah.
the story like just dragged and dragged and dragged, and I was all like, ah yes, this is the vibes of like the 80s and 90s anime where like you got like it's great, but you gotta like go through like so many episodes for like
Gotta
each like
slog
part.
it out.
It was like a marathon, and then I think like I was so hyped into like when I was getting into JoJo, but then like I had to stop because like I feel like I burned out because like I just powered through the first 3 parts. And then when I finally got to part 4, I'm all like, yeah, this is great. Like the art style is amazing, but like, and it's a little bit quicker pace. But I was like, oh, I need like a mental break because I feel like I just like went through a whole marathon.
Well, it's because like season 3 of JoJo is essentially like season 3 part 1 and season 3 part 2. It's before Egypt and then Egypt. Those it takes so long to get to where they're going. But it's like you're saying, that's like the joy of it for like older watchers. Like, oh, this is kind of what I was used to growing up. But you know what's crazy? Season 4 did that too. There was like 30 something episodes in season 4, maybe 40.
I think it's a little bit less than the number of episodes for season 3. But from what I heard, it's just like the pacing of the episodes. It's just faster. Yeah,
it's so much faster. So that's like so that was really because I was telling you guys this before. Like season 4 is my favorite of the JoJo series. Like all of them up to like. I don't read the manga so much. I really watch the series. So like I'm like midway through Vento. How do you say Vento Oreo? Vento
Venita. Is it
part
5?
Vanitas.
Part 5. We'll just call it part 5.
Part 5.
Yeah, just keep it simple. Keep it short and simple.
Vento Ragu. But yeah, so like I'm halfway through that and like it's good, but still like season 4 for me was that stuff. Like you're saying, art style, pacing, the characters were funny. But it was also kind of like scary, like the big baddie of season 4 was scarier than Dio for me.
Yeah, man,
I can see it.
I just can't wait to get to the Steel Ball run because I heard that was like the best.
Yeah, I want to get to that really. Like, I'm excited for that, but I'm also really excited for was it Stone Ocean? That was called. That's the one where it's Jotaro's daughter.
Oh, true.
With Jolene.
Yeah. Like I'm excited for that one. I heard some really bonker stuff goes off with that. But yeah, I mean, so like that being like just kind of like trying to bring it back around. Like that's for me it was Gundam. Emil, it was Sailor Moon. Chavez, you said that you just kind of watched whatever it was set as Card Captor Sakura, right? That's what your sisters.
Yeah, it was like I was basically just watching whatever they were watching. So it was like,
and that's kind of interesting. That's kind of like a broad scope. Like I would assume like you think like guy's first anime is probably gonna be like Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z
or something. Mm-hmm.
or like one of the big threes like Bleach, Naruto, or One Piece. But I feel like since when we started watching anime, it's probably that like grace period where there's a lot going on. I feel like at that time.
Yeah, we had stuff to choose from, or like stuff to choose from, like different things. Be like, oh, I'm gonna check this out instead, even though there was no streaming back then. Everybody was on TV,
and
I think you had to wake up and watch on TV and kind of keep track of like, all right, what happened last episode? Okay, bet.
it's like, am I gonna sit here and watch the new like FMA, or am I gonna watch Gilmore Girls? Let's figure it out.
You had to choose, but then and then I think from there was that gradual shift of like watching stuff on TV only to when like stuff became more available like on the internet. Yeah, because I do remember that transition. Because I do remember, so it was like obviously like the Pokemon, the Sailor Moon, the Digimon, Dragon Ball, whatever was on TV and Toonami. And I remember a phase where I like started getting into like manga.
Yeah.
So that's when I started buying stuff like the Nagima series and like other stuff like that. But then I think once the internet was available and anime started popping up like online, that's when like I started watching like when the genres kind of started like going into everything. Because I feel like back then we'd only watch like a shonen anime, but now it's kind of like what you're saying, like we watch like slice of life, and then like just a bunch of everything, like really.
Yeah. So like one of the genres that like was new for me, and I feel like kind of exploded recently within the recent years, was isekai anime. I should have done my research for this, but I didn't like. For me,
what you mean, right? You didn't watch the OG isekais of Inuyasha and Yu Yu Hakusho?
Would that be considered isekai? Because like it's the same world, they just kind of step into like a different one, then come back. Like I was considered isekai like you're stuck there.
Yeah, kind of like a la like. I was gonna say
SAO. Technically, just a video game.
I did ReZero is one, or ReZero is an isekai too.
No, it absolutely is. But like that's one of the newer ones, isn't it?
Well, technically, because like I would say Inuyasha is probably because they go into the spirit world for Yu Yu Hakusho, right?
Yeah, but like they pop back and forth.
But they can freely travel though, which is the thing. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah,
it's just like how would you going to a different world, right?
I just consider it being trapped, like forcefully or like without your will being put into a different world. Like. I like the idea. It was always something cool to think about, like, because we're people who like fantasy and anime and sci-fi and stuff like that. Who among us hasn't thought, man, what if I was in that situation?
Same.
What if my dad said, Ryan, get in the robot?
Would I like
dig out of it, or I say, yeah, let's do it, pops? Like,
But you guys have a favorite isekai?
Me, yes, Konosuba. Konosuba is my favorite isekai of all time because it breaks the norm of like the isekai hero stepping into the world. Like, like you see Kirito and he's just like from Sword Art Online. He's like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm a beta tester. I'm a cheater. I'm a beater. I don't know if that was in like the original dub or like that was like something they made for English. I'm not sure. I thought it was funny. He's a bad.
No, that's real. That's real. All that stuff's real.
Beta player. That's why he was like super strong.
Like, well, I loved it. Well, no, like the word beater, was that a thing? Like, was that like
it was? Yeah, it's because it's combining like beater and cheater or something.
It's beta tester and cheater. But like, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, beta tester. There we go.
Because like you see SAO, and Kirito's just like OP. He's just like it's over. I'm breaking it. I have the superpower. I'm breaking it. You looked at ReZero, and I don't want to like spoil that, but like the hero has a power that makes him strong in a way that kind of sucks. But then you get to Konosuba and you see Kazuma Sato and he's just like a loser. The guy sucks. He's just like, he's a perv. He's just a punk. And he gets, because when he dies, he gets to like, the afterlife and the goddess who helps him do that, her name's Aqua, voiced by the amazing Faye Mata, says, like, you could take one thing. I'll give you one thing. He could have asked for, like, I want to be a Super Saiyan. I want to have, like, infinite guns. I want to have infinite money. I want to be, like, a wizard. Well, he gets spiteful because she makes fun of him. He's like, well, I'm taking you. So he gets sent to this other world with a goddess who can't really do anything or think about anybody but herself. Yeah, who's like useless goddess. The
most OP character in the show.
Yeah, she's
completely useless.
Like, all she can think about is like when she's gonna get her next drink, because she's like an alcoholic, and when she's gonna eat, and how much debt she's in. So she and I have that in common. But like I like, that's my favorite one because it's very much how I picture myself if I was in a different world. It's like, I like to think I'd be the hero. I like to think I'd be like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. You see Cautious Hero and the guy's just like mopping the floor with monsters. I think honestly, deep down, I look at myself and say, you know what? I'm a Kazuma Sato.
I'm one of those side hunters or adventurers I'm a side character. I'm like, I'm cool with that. I don't want to be the main character.
It's like I don't want to hunt the Demon Lord. That's a lot of work, and that's how Kazuma looks at it. He's like, you want me to do what? No, I'm good.
It's like, I go, let me just chill if I can.
But his popular phase has started, so that's all right.
Yo, Pog, let's go.
But yeah, so for me, that's my favorite of the isekais.
Yeah, I think for me, yeah, I'd have to hard agree. But, well, granted though, I also really like ReZero, so I don't know. Actually no, I'm not gonna comment on it because spoilers and all that. But I really like it, yeah. But no, absolutely though, Konosuba though, for me, if I had to pit the two, I would have to go with Konosuba. Konosuba's super good. The movie's great too.
I will say for me, Konosuba has been the most. Actually, just in general, like in anime, like one of the most enjoyable things I've watched recently. Because I'm late to the bandwagon, but it is what it is. But I'm almost done with season 2. It's been like a funny, like everything's hilarious. It just parodies all of anime. But for me, I will say at the peak of watching anime, as overrated as it is, I will still say No Game No Life is still my favorite isekai.
Ooh, that's a good choice too, though.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I haven't watched
Game No Life. No, I haven't.
Oh, Brian has homework now.
It's like it's also kind of not like your typical like isekai, like like adventures, like well, it's a lot of like a lot of mind games and like a lot of trickery and like power moves, but not in a sense of like how like Kirito's like overpowered just because he's a cheater or whatever.
Yeah,
but like the way they just like did No Game No Life, like the cast of characters was also like perfect for me. Like the main character was great. What was his name? Was it Sora?
Yeah, Sora and Shiro.
Sora and Shiro.
Donald and Goofy.
But Ryan, I'll call you a Steph, and you will not understand that until you watch No Game No Life. Your new nickname on this podcast is a Steph.
This is Steph.
Do you agree, Chevez? Are we bestowing him this nickname?
I think so. I think
so.
What?
Y'all a bunch of hoes.
That's as far as I'm going to talk about No Game No Life. It's really short. It's only 11 episodes, I think. We're RIP season 2. We're still waiting for the 6 years that's been out for whatever. But we got a movie at least somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like a perfect thing where it was like it kind of like it was like lighthearted. It was like cool. Like, do you like those animes, Ryan, where they kind of do like those like say like they're playing a game and they do some like super cool like mental like move that like kind of throws everyone off and then like they use it to their advantage like type of deal?
I'd have to.
It's like unorthodox solutions, kind of.
Do you have an example of like a different anime where it happened? Like just like
it's kind of like did you watch the gambling one?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch the one either.
Kageguri or whatever.
Kageguri.
But it's more like okay. So, but I know what that's kind of about. So it's stuff like that where it's not just like brute force fighting.
Like, did you watch Kaguya-sama War is Love or Love is War?
No.
Oh man, Ryan, please. You got a series to watch.
Chevez, you got an example? Because I'm trying to think of like what was like is like something like an example where it'd be like
that would be like similar to No Game No Life
without like spoiling anything.
Wait, so like, wait, real quick, just let me explain like what I think you're talking about, and tell me if I'm in like the right, going on the right kind of like path.
Yeah, go for it.
Instead of using like like super strong moves, this and that, it's like I'm gonna do something really smart, and I'm gonna use that like this trickery or this sleight of hand to get the upper hand on you, kind of deal.
So think about this, right? So like, say if we're playing like
League.
poker or something, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's say I get my hand right, and off the bat I tell you, I'm not gonna change anything because I have this. Like I already say like I have like a 3 of a kind. Like I tell you that off the bat.
Yeah.
And so then it kind of goes like how kind of you have to kind of deceive people in these type of games.
Yeah. Okay.
So like you kind of throw it out there like, oh, I have a 3 of a kind, and then like so you throw that out there to like mentally mess with the opponent, because they're like, now they gotta think like, oh, do they really have a 3 of a kind? Are they like bluffing, or like they
Whether
do
you should call or not.
yeah,
So
so
you're
they do
using
like
all these-
maneuvers to like throw off the like psychology of like the other player or the other person.
Okay, so I get you. So essentially, what you're saying is that you're using all of these like convoluted ways of describing. Where you're just trying to describe Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah.
where it's like brain moves. It's like I'm gonna do a big brain move right now. I'm not gonna do something super crazy. I'm gonna do something that's gonna toss you off balance and use that you in that unbalanced state to like get what I need to get done, kind of deal.
Yeah. So pretty much it's like you're just using the information you have as like a way to manipulate the game type of deal to mess with like people's psyches.
Okay, yeah. And it's only like 11 episodes. Yeah, I can watch that tonight.
We actually when we came back from ASIN, I think it was 2014 or 2015, whichever year it came out, because me, Chevez, and Wally had to edit a bunch of stuff. We ended up not editing anything because we ended up watching the entire series in one go.
Yeah.
And then the next day, somebody else came over and we ended up watching it again.
Yeah, we just watched it back to back. We're like,
we watched the whole series back to back in 2 days. So you should really give it a shot, because I feel like you would really like No Game No Life.
Is it on Netflix? I think I saw it on Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it is. I mean, if it's not, I have all I have like all the subscriptions to all the streaming things, so I could watch it wherever.
Yeah. So the Steph would like No Game No Life. Steph would also like Kaguya-sama Love is War, because that's also kind of another.
That's the one with the girl with the pink hair who does the cool dance, right? Where they put all their blood into that dance at the end.
Chika, yeah.
Gotcha. Konosuba did that with the freaking the hands with Kazuma's hands.
You don't understand, Ryan. The studio used all its budget on that one scene.
No, I know that's what Konosuba did with that where Kazuma's saying steel with his hands and it's all like super like fluid.
Yeah, that was.
You notice in the backgrounds of all the other after that episode, Megumin's face doesn't even show up in the background. They couldn't afford to put that in. They say, "Oh, she's just too small. Or she's too far away." No, they couldn't afford to put that in there.
But like a couple extra lines? Nah, can't do it.
They can afford that.
You're like, wait, you even
they hired guys to do. They hired commission artists off DeviantArt.
Go Fiverr.
Oh my god, no! Fiverr's like X Arms territory. Hey, you guys want to work for Crunchyroll? If I got a deal for you. So that's isekai. Like that's one of the big ones. What about shonen? Like DBZ, FMA, those are shonen. And for those of you that don't know, shonen literally is anime for boys. That's literally all shonen means. So Shonen Jump, we're like Bleach, One Piece, Naruto. Well, not Naruto. I call it the comic that centers around Boruto's dad. Boruto. That's all shonen anime.
Take that back. I'm done with this podcast.
I'm done.
I saw a picture where it showed Sasuke like yelling, like it showed like Naruto from like it was like a scene from Boruto, and Naruto's like yelling something. He's like Sasuke, and then it shows Sasuke, and he says Boruto's dead.
Yes. No, but dude, I feel like shonen is so hard to pick. Like it's so.
Let's just deep dive it. Let's just lightning round it on the we'll just go down. We'll say one shonen that we like, and that's because you're right. There's just so many. If you open up like on Anime Network or whatever, and you open up shonen, it literally goes into like the thousands of tabs because there's just so much stuff out there.
Yeah, you're gonna get like assaulted by like numerous images and like text.
I
You're just
mean,
gonna be like, "What the hell? How many
I
pages
have
is
an
this shit?"
answer. It's just,
Yeah, I have an answer as well. Yeah.
Oh, well then you stop, Mr. Emil.
Oh, recently, like it changes throughout times, but for me, it is probably Demon Slayer.
Oh,
Demon Slayer has
I
been
just started that.
like the opening is hype. Opening is one of the best openings in anime history. The pacing is good. Once you get to episode 19,
Chef's kiss right there.
Chef's Kiss, episode 19 and beyond. You know how good it was, Ryan, for me? It was so good that when I finished the anime, I straight up finished the manga the day after. Like 2 or 3 days after I read the entire manga.
That's how it was with Attack on Titan. I caught up with the anime and I was like, I need to finish.
Okay, so
so Demon Slayer for you?
Michael Jackson is the greatest antagonist of anime history. No, I'm just kidding. he is such a good Mugen though. Mugen, right?
It's so good.
Oh, Mugen, yeah. It's so good.
It's so
right. You're in for a treat once you like catch up.
Oh yeah, I'm already hooked on it. Like that's what I'm watching currently right now. That's like what
Nice.
So Demon Slayer.
But for me though, actually, I feel like originally I would probably like it would have been like One Piece and Bleach, and then probably into something like Demon Slayer for me. Because I remember back then I was like, me and our other friend Alec from our other anime friend in high school. We used to be part of like forums, right? With like just different websites. Do you remember like the Zeta boards and like all those?
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah. Oh my god. Yeah,
so
last one to pass. Fuck.
we were part of a Zeta board that like because we were originally part of this group called Pokemon Paradise. So it was like a Pokemon roleplay board. But then some of us from that board started our own like Bleach one. So we were like our role played Bleach characters. We had our own profiles and everything. So I was like, there was a time where I was like super, super into like Bleach. Shout out to Hitsugaya and Byakuya, best Soul Reapers, Shin Megamis. They're the best. But yeah. So that was like probably my peak of like teenage Emil was like Bleach, and then like just One Piece along with the ride. But then like I feel like more recently, from like all the shonens I've seen, it is probably Demon Slayer. It's just storytelling and just the balance and the art style and everything is just phenomenal.
Nice. No, I'm so stoked to get into it. Like when it popped up on, like I could have watched it any time, but like it's on Netflix. So I'm like I see it every time I open up the dang thing. So I'm like I'm gonna watch this now. So yeah. So I'm excited about that one for sure.
Dude, I have such a problem, right? Because like I have no problem watching like anime online, like in that way. But like for me, it's like it's so much easier when it's on like a Hulu or a Netflix. I'm just like, oh cool, I could just play it on Netflix.
Exactly. You got no ads of like, hey man, horny MILFs in your area are looking to make friends. Just like I'm trying to sit here. I'm trying to watch Shingeki no Kyojin. I don't need animes forever. Them, they're already old. They got both feet in the grave. I got time to deal with that. Give me Mai from Yu-Gi-Oh. You know what I'm saying?
He's speaking truth. Let him preach.
Is Shokugeki no Soma, is that a shonen too? Technically,
I think it is. I would consider that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean it was in Jump, so it has to.
I actually really enjoyed Shokugeki no Soma up until the, before when it ended, but not ended.
Yeah. That's after that it goes firmly into yikes territory.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
All right, so those are meals. What about you? Son of God.
Son of God. Solo. But I would say for me, I mean my absolute favorite though would have to be Full Metal Alchemist. Like I love it so much, dude. I was obsessed. Yeah. Like the original one was good.
The original one though is good, but it's not Brotherhood.
It was good for the time.
So, yeah. I mean, because even back then, like when the original was airing, the manga was still going. Yeah. So they're like, all right, we have the trials and tribulations, Edward, and we're gonna just fucking wing it through. It's like give whatever ending comes to mind. Cool, whatever. It's still an enjoyable watch. Yeah. Brotherhood though, when they actually did like everything, they did the manga justice. Damn, that was. I loved it. Seeing just like all the like trials and tribulations Edward and Elric went through. It's like, oh my God.
Edward and Elric, first and last name.
I know, right?
Edwards and Alphonse.
I know Alphonse. Oh man, I'm trying hard not to fanboy too hard. So I'm like, my words.
Everything about Winry. Chill out, dude. It's all right, champ.
I know, right? Winry. It's just really good. Oh man, I'm just staring like up into the ceiling. I'm just like reminiscing now.
Oh wait, that's
So
one of the greats. That's one of the greats. Like I'm the same. Like, is that your favorite shonen, or is that like one from back then, or do you have like one now that you watch more?
I would say for me, Full Metal Alchemist is my all-time favorite. But in terms of like other shonens, yeah, Demon Slayer is definitely up there. Attack on Titan's also up there. I would say One Piece as well, for sure. Those are probably those are all like in my top probably 10 overall too.
Like for me, the ones we kind of just mentioned, like Full Metal Alchemist, like Demon Slayer, One Piece, and like all that. I feel like those are definitely like in my top 5 of like shonen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, like those are like the OGs.
Those are the OGs, yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, I'm right there with you, Chavez. Like it's my it will always be my all-time favorite is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is Ezio Auditore, man. Like
when you
said real.
When you said Assassin's Creed, right? When you you're saying like I thought you were about to say My Hero. I was about to be like, get out of here, man.
It has its moments when bro. It is not a lie when they say that you say run goes with everything.
It truly.
I watched a clip of Tigger from the Tigger movie with Winnie the Pooh, and they had "You Say Run," and I had like tears in my eyes. And I was like, "You got Tigger, man! You got him!" It was crazy, dude. But for me, yeah, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is like will always be my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
That is like
so
nothing
good.
will ever top that. But one that I got into when I was young, and I just like devoured, and I don't remember what happened in it. Was Code Geass.
Oh, yep. That one was a phenomenal one too.
Because that was a nice little mix of like, mecha, but then it was like it was shonen. And that one was just like I was like, man, this guy's eyes, he could like his contacts do crazy things, and like, I didn't know what was going on. But I just like the robot battles. I was like, Colin, she's pretty. And like I'm just over here like like that was one that I really like watched a lot when I was younger. I mean, of course, Dragon Ball. We talked about that.
Yeah,
I feel like it's cheating to bring up Dragon Ball again.
But
yeah, Dragon Ball was always
like
shooing.
Yeah,
Yu
was like
as well. Yu was fucking good too.
Yeah, but like I think for me it was Bleach. Bleach was the other like of the big three. Like that was.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the Bankais were so cool.
Yeah, bro,
yeah, the concept was baller.
I needed more Bankais.
Yeah, dude, because they had Yamamoto's Bankai. All of those, dude. And like just like one thing with Bleach too, when the Espada showed up and the Arrancar, the music that played when they fought like that Spanish mandolin,
mm-hmm.
Dude, I was ready to fight any and everybody and lose. That was pretty okay.
Bleach was like peaking until it hit like the Aizen arc, and then it died.
Yeah, absolutely. After Aizen, it should have. Or fuck, this is technically spoilers, but after Aizen, it should have absolutely ended. I remember fucking arguing about this too with everyone. I was like, after Aizen, get me the fuck out. This is the perfect ending.
Well, for me, it did end there. For me, it did end there.
And then it continued, and I was like, no.
I remember this conversation. We were at lunch, and it was me, Chavez, and our other friend. I will, we'll call him Bob. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting heated just thinking about it.
he was going to me. He's not like, nah. Bleach is gonna be over. It's gonna be over. Like like Ichigo lost. Spoilers. There's already spoilers if people don't know.
Right?
Well, how many decades ago? It's all right.
Yeah. So like after this whole Aizen thing, like Ichigo like lost his powers or whatnot, and this dude, he was like straight up was all like, nah, Bleach has to end. There's no way they can keep going after this. I was like, I give it 1 month. Ichigo's gonna get his powers back through a different way, and the story will go on way longer than it should for like another like 3 arcs.
Mm-hmm. And
he comes back to me. He's all like, "Bro, how did you know?" I was like, "Dude, it's so obvious, man.
They made too much money off of it.
You ain't on our weeb status, bro."
Yeah. At that point, yeah. It was one. Well, at that time, it was already fucking established as big 3 for like years. At that point,
But
it
like
was just
me and
big
Chavez
money.
over here, we're like, dude, this is not gonna end, dude. They're gonna like figure out a way to give them new powers or whatever, just so the series wouldn't end.
But that's what pissed me off about it too, because I was like, "Fuck! If you end it here, or like give a little bit of closure and then end it here, fucking beautiful. This was great. Like sure, after like Soul, like the whole Soul Society arc, like
Soul Society arc is like one of the best arcs in all of anime.
it was like fire. It kind of loses its footing into arcs after that, but then the Aizen arc, like it would have been amazing. I mean, people still talk about it, but it's just I don't know. It seems like a missed opportunity. Still great, but it's just if they had ended it there, fuck, it would have been in the upper echelons of like.
It's kind of like right if you like had it like as a out of 10, like Bleach could have been that like 10 out of 10 if they ended it at the Aizen arc.
Yeah.
Because that's what they should have done. Like series that did it that's not anime, Breaking Bad. People wanted that shit to keep going, and the dude's like, no, the story's over. Just let it like it ended where it's supposed to end. Let it stay done. Like, I agree. They should have ended it after the Aizen arc. That like final fight too. Come on.
Yeah, the final fight shit. I was hyped. I was ready. I was ready to throw hands and that's like what was it like?
Punch a hole in your monitor and whatnot.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, I was like, I was ready to fight, throw hands and shit. I'd be like, I got you, Chico. Fucking, but then I get bodied instantly.
It's easily killed.
That was a shit where it was like, oh man, like if I get isekai anywhere, I'd be like, yo, that would have been a fucking baller.
I'm still like, I still want to be a Shinigami.
Yeah, like oh man,
like to this day, like I am still such a fanboy of that concept of like the whole like squads and like the captains and everything.
Yeah, that was dope, man. And like
Squad 10, Squad 10.
What's her face's brother? His Bankai with like the rose petals.
Byakuya.
Yeah,
dude, that was when they're fighting their weapons later on. He's just like, hey man, let me show you something, bro. He's fighting his sword. He kills his sword with the sword's move. Such a good stuff. But yeah, for me, it was Bleach. That was like another like one of the big ones in my life. And then of course FMA. So we could be here all night talking about these, but I think an important one that we should talk about is ecchi.
Oh, Pog
Because people make the misconception that ecchi is like porn. It's not. Ecchi just means like it's like dirty. It's just like like sexual
nowadays they're like threading that line, or they're like
they are with some of those, but like old
like a dangerous game, like right what they're doing right now.
Yeah, no. Right now the guys have been like, hey, let's just take it to 11. There was a tasteful way to do things back in the day.
Do you guys have a favorite ecchi or like
So, go ahead, man. Take the floor.
I was gonna say for me, I mean, it'd have to be To Love Ru. I fucking love it. Like it was like a great cast. I love Yui. I love Lala. Oh man, I'm getting flashbacks again. I'm about to just break down, and be like, those were the days like darkness. Shit, so good. Like sure, fine. Rito, is kind of typical, like kind of like a weakling MC. Kind of, he's unsure what to do. But even then, it was like, I don't know. I just loved the girls so much. Like, they all had, like, really good personalities. They all had really good style. They're all, like, interesting. So, I just keep on going back to it. And, like, going back and rereading it just to be like, all right, it's been a couple of years. My memory's kind of faded about some parts. Let's do a read through again.
Is the manga better than the anime for To Love Ru?
I see. That's kind of hard, too. Because, like, kind of like with Bleach, I feel like the music for To Love Ru were just fucking bangers. Like, the opening. Yeah, no, but I don't know. I think the manga did, or sorry, not the manga. Sorry, I think the anime did the manga pretty good, in my opinion, at least. So if you wanted to go with one or the other, or either medium, you'll be fine.
Yeah, To Love Ru. There's some funny scenes in that's one of those animes that has me cracking up.
Yeah, like you can't like it's just funny as hell. It's like Konosuba, where it's like some of the shit that they pull or say, like you just sit there, process it, and then just fucking die laughing. Then a couple minutes later, you're like, oh shit, right, I was reading the chapter. Hold on. Or watching the episode.
Dude, man, like some of the ecchi animes that we used to watch back in the day, I feel like would not fly in today's society anymore.
Yeah, you're bringing this up earlier, Chavez. Like we see things when we're younger and we're like, oh, it's it's action or it's just whatever. We don't really know. But then like we go back and like we're seeing stuff of like teachers dating students. Or like, hold up,
Yeah, it's like, wait,
Yeah,
what's going
what?
on right here?
like some of the most sketchiest things you would see.
Oh, wait a minute.
Like,
There,
like I
there's
am.
a-
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead. You first.
Oh, no, there is a series out there called like Teacher, What the Hell Are You Doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about this?
Yeah.
Oh
It's-
yeah, it's
it's
like
totally- No.
Nande Koko ni Sensei or something like that. I'm just trying to
Goodness knows, he's saying it in like the motherland language. Who
remember.
knows what it is? But this is literally about like high school teachers dating their students, and it blew my mind because like, and the reason why I say that is because like, first of all, that's like weird as hell. But like, back to me, I was saying like, I think a lot of stuff from back then wouldn't fly. I think a lot of stuff right now shouldn't fly.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, especially now, what's going on?
yeah,
Like,
like right
there's-
now, like
mm,
it's one of those things where you look at it, it's like, hey, this is really weird. Like, what are these people doing? This is like really, really wrong. Because stuff like that happens in real life and it messes up the kids. So they're like, you know what? Let's just make an anime about it. I'm like, guys, please. Like, what's going on?
please.
It's so weird. It's so weird. But
No,
yeah.
but I
Well,
will
no,
say like it's like these H companies are just like, yeah, let's make anime now, and then they're just like, I'm just gonna pass it off as an anime and see what we can get away with type of deal.
Well, no. Well, I mean, in regards to the Sensei one though, like, because there's also like a legit manga. It's not a Dojin series or any of that. But like for that
Yeah,
one,
cut off-
like for some of them, yeah, some of them like when I was reading, it, I was like, ooh, I don't know about this shit. But like, I'm pretty sure the first couple though, I haven't actually seen the anime. That's actually
One of them
next
is in
to
college. I was wrong for that. One of them was in college, right? It was in
Well,
college.
no,
It was-
well, yeah, because like I'm pretty sure. Well, like I said, I have to watch the anime too just to confirm. But like I'm pretty sure the first couple in that one, they're like childhood friends. So there's like a 5-6 year age gap, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
So then it kind of skirts the line where it's like, well, technically, I can kind of see it, and then yeah, like they don't actually officially start dating until he graduates high school and is legal of age. So for that,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, cool, that's that's fine, whatever. You can have your little. I mean, sure, some of the situations are like, oh, I don't know about this shit, chief. Like this is, even as a grown ass man, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think this shit would be acceptable by today's society or today's terms and shit.
It's like some of the stuff they've been doing that's like old school Puerto Rican island, like people marrying like 13-year-old stuff with some of the weird etche stuff they have going on now. Like,
Yeah.
Psych-
Oof, yikes.
but I think one of the etchy animes that I like it's funny because a lot, and I was telling this to my buddies, I was like, you ever notice how like the etchy animes have like, some of them have like amazing animation, crazy cool plots, awesome music, characters that actually have backstories.
Like for the characters, yeah.
Well, like for me, there's a series. It's not a manga. It started off as a manhwa, so it's like a Korean manga. It's called Freezing.
Yes, sir.
And Freezing is like, I originally got into this series because I am, I grew up doing theater. Theater. I got my degree in theater. I do voiceover work. So I'm all over English voice actors. So one of my favorite voice actresses is Caitlin Glass, and she voices the main character in Freezing, Satellite L. Bridget.
Nice.
So I watched it, and so of course the first thing I was like, okay, this is just like a fan service anime, but I'll push through it for my girl. So I'm watching it, and then kind of all that stuff just kind of disappeared for me, and I'm just like sitting here, and I'm just like, man, like, the Nova are crazy, bro, and these people have these powers, and just like they're using these things called like every time they would like, because like in order to beat the creatures that they were fighting. If you got caught for 1 second, it would just like stun lock you and then just rip you apart. So they have to move faster and faster and faster. So like there's like this cool scene where they're fighting one, and she's like times 2, times 3, times 10, and like her body's like wearing down because she's going too fast.
Yeah.
And I'm standing up on my seat, like, ah! But the animation's so cool. It's so clean. The voice cast for the English dub is just like, I'm an English dub boy because I love, I'm an actor and I want to do that stuff. So, but like, the English dub is amazing for it. The music, I have the albums on my phone because they're just so like, there is like this melancholy somberness to like the majority of the soundtrack because they take into account, they're like, yo, because they always have that weird trope in like anime where it's like, we can only send the children to do the work of monsters. So but like they forget about it. It's just like, oh man, like in My Hero, it's just like, oh man, there goes, Deku, he's over there fighting the devil, but hey, he's a hero, right? But no, we seem to forget that there's still kids in school.
Right.
In this, they take into account, they're like, they like at one point they're like, hey, you realize that we're sending like high schoolers to go die? And like, hey, the only ones that could do it apparently for some reason, but they take it into account, and that permeates the world. So the world is a very somber world. They do, of course, have like the classic hot spring episode, which is needed for any type of thing for an OVA.
Mm-hmm.
But
For
part of
every
it
anime.
is it was for every anime.
Every single anime needs a hot springs
Hot
or a beach
OVA or something.
Or like a beach episode.
Or
Lock
like
and
water
Keys,
park
not Lock and Key. Oh my gosh, what is it? Dan Maki's OVA had me cracking up. That one was funny.
Danmachi.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, Don Maki, who?
I was like, what?
I said Mock and Key before that, and so it stuck in my mouth. But yeah, so for me, like it has those tropes, but there's something under there that I really like. And so literally eventually for me, all the fan service disappeared like for me in the first 2 episodes, and I'm invested in the characters. I'm loving the animation. The music gets me into the fights and into the scenes, and the acting is good. So I'm just like all over it. So like for me, I don't watch a lot of ecchi anime, but like that's one that clearly is. But I think that if you're looking to check something out that's like a cool kind of plot, definitely watch the anime. But I would definitely recommend reading the manhwa. That is the they made it a manga over here in the States, and it's the only series that I've purchased every book for. That and Konosuba. I just purchased all of the Konosuba series, and the light novels.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But so like for me, that's one that I like, and just to say also, there are those like that they label ecchi out there that have like some amazing story to them, that have like an amazing like, it's not just like weird stuff, it's not just like, oh, this is for like dirty boys.
That's the thing, right? I agree with what you're saying. Like that's the thing, right? Like you have all of these animes or mangas, right? That like we'd consider an ecchi, or like maybe not even an ecchi, but it can have an ecchi influence, but it still be like this amazing like story. It just happens to be a ecchi that played a part of it.
Yeah, like Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-san.
Oh man.
That one is another one that had me. I think I was like having asthma attacks. I was laughing so hard. That's the voice of Ichigo. That's what's his name? I'm gonna scream. He was also the Black Ranger in Power Rangers. Johnny Young Bosch.
Okay, yeah,
And then Wendy Lee.
How you doing, my boy Johnny Young Bosch?
Dude, like his name is like fool. I'm not gonna lie. His last name's Bosch. The only word that was in my head with the B was boob. And that just kept cycling through my head.
Ecchi brain.
That's gonna say over here on my anime list, looking at the ecchi tab. But like Johnny Young Bosch and Wendy Lee. She's also an amazing voice actress. She's the voice of my favorite League of Legends champion, Leona. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like Emil, like I feel like Freezing is definitely one that. Well, if you go back, like if I go back and I watch it, it definitely does have like the edgy is very heavy in it, but it does have those things. It has everything else. So it's almost like if you're able to get past that, which I was really easily able to, because for me, music is a huge part of my life. I love music. When like a certain soundtrack kicks in, everything else kind of like I just hear words and see things going on, and the music's playing, and I just care about like the characters.
Brings the like emotions and like sets the tone and the mood of like.
Well, also the vocal performances of the voice actors for me. Like I'm not gonna lie. There's some like those early English dubs. I go back and they're funny. Like it's like it because it's just because they weren't good. Some of the the earlier animes that came out and they got dubbed.
The quality assurance was not there.
Yeah,
exactly. But also that was new to voice actors too. Like dubbing like that. This is a whole series you're dubbing. You're doing ADR for it, and that's not easy. Like you're matching lip flaps and you're doing like But like going back to what I was saying with like, or like what you were saying is like, like the music brings out that emotion, but then you have these people who are delivering these like gut wrenching performances. People say, "Oh, it's just anime. It's already animated. You don't got to do anything." That's not true. I'd say voice acting is probably one of the hardest forms of acting because you cannot act. As an actor, you act with your body, but you are in a booth behind a mic and you can't move your body too much or else you mess up, your mic technique. So these actors and actresses are just giving their heart and soul, and you're like, wow, that really hit me heavy. For them to get that across a microphone, like that's some big time stuff. But also for Japanese voice actors too. I was watching Japanese voice actors for Giorno, the Japanese voice actor for that, doing the mudas, and people in the audience are like standing up and they're doing it with them. Like it's fun and it's cool to see these voice actors do it because they just go all out.
Yep.
Like I think I remember, I think I know what clip you're talking about. It was he was on a variety show, right? Yeah. And then he was actually screaming his lungs out, punching the air while he was doing it. People were giving him a standing ovation just for saying muda 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 muda.
Because it means something to them, and he's there. He is the voice that because this is how I look at it. When you're doing voiceover work, yes, the animation is something that we watch, but we also hear things. So aside from an animation or a picture on the screen, that voice is another vector for you to get into the world of whatever anime you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
So these voice actors kill it. So all that to say, Girls Bravo is the best show ever made. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's kind of like Kingdom Hearts, right? Haley Joel Osment is forever going to be the voice of Sora.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And just stuff like that.
Dang, I forgot he was the voice of Sora, but he is. Haley Joel Osment, man. I used to have a huge crush on his sister when she was on the Hannah Montana show. She did a Goosebumps movie, and I said, Emily Osment. She said, I don't think about it. And I was like, I'm going to buy that song off the iTunes store, and I did.
Your decisions have been made. I'm really committed.
I am committed.
I'm about to support my girl. I'm about to support my girl. Get this song for 90 cents or whatever.
I'll make sure my girl gets her tendies. I'm gonna buy this right now.
That's what me and Chevez were talking about recently. I went 0 to 100 as 02 is now my waifu, as I bought the Supreme 02 phone case.
The waifu things flip and flop so fast. It's just what did I see today? My new waifu.
I was actually
Astolfo, my new waifu. I was
telling these guys actually, for someone who's watched anime for so long, I feel like I actually never really had a true anime waifu until
me.
Recently. No, but
because you had us. We were your waifus back then.
Y'all
left and right tit. Come on, man.
But you know what? Going back to what we were talking about, the ecchi animes. I think the reason why I never really feel like I had a true waifu was because I was that harem ecchi kid.
Man.
So
I don't have one. I have many. He's legions in the Bible.
No, yeah. But I do.
You're like a Negima kind of guy, huh?
That's Ian's fault. Straight up Ian's fault. I let me tell you my origin story of this, right? So there was a period, I would probably say from 2006 to probably 2010, 2012. I don't know, probably 2010. So how old were we? Oh, middle school, high school, right?
Yeah.
Which you should,
no, we were in high school.
Yeah, we were in high school. Yeah,
we were in high school, right? So when we first got into ecchi anime, which is I assume is normal, but you really shouldn't be into ecchi animes at that time when you're in middle school. But whatever, it is what it is. So I remember, Ian he was the one who actually told me to get into Negima. So it's kind of one of those other manga or anime, kind of what you're talking about, Ryan, where ecchi plays a big part of it and the harem aspect of it, but it's this grand adventure in a wizard world type of situation.
Yeah, what was the remake they did?
I will say though, it was a better because they had 2 anime adaptations. The first one was pretty good, but then obviously the manga was still going, so they had to do their own original ending, and then the second one. The second version of the version of the one they did was the Negima Neo wasn't as good either. But it is the only manga where I own all 38 volumes of it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, see that.
I will say in terms of ecchi and harem, that's probably my favorite manga. But just because I actually stuck with it throughout the years, that was one of the things I never dropped when I was when it came to purchasing things. But then so what's his name? Ken Akimatsu?
What'd you call me?
Yeah, I think he's the author of Nagima. I know his first name's Ken. But so I kind of went on like this streak of like watching like pretty much only harem animes or like ecchi animes. So like, and then so like while I was watching Nagima, I watched his original one, which was, or not, I don't know if his original, but his first big series, which was Love Hina. Did any of you guys love Hina? I'm a man of OG culture. Forget none of these like new harems. I'm all about the OG stuff. So I ended up watching stuff like Love Hina, like Ichigo 100%.
Mm-hmm.
What else was there? There were so many. Shuffle. Oh man, Shuffle is so good. But yeah, so it's just kind of like it wasn't necessarily like all ecchi, but I feel like for me it was more of like association with like the harem animes. And I remember like I was only like watching harem animes. Like it was ridiculous for like a couple years.
And now we know where to send the police.
No, but I will say though, like overall, like balance wise, I would probably say like Ichigo 100% is probably like one of my favorite like ecchi harem animes and manga because like it has like a good balance of like the ecchi stuff, slice of life, like comedy, like
And action.
and action kind of, and you get like you get to choose the best girl.
Me.
I know I really like Ichigo and it was really balanced,
It was.
and then like because like other stuff like Nagima, like I really enjoyed the manga, like that was a great like story, but it's like I'm not gonna really sit down there and be like, at least for me, like yeah, it was ecchi, but like I look at it more as ecchi because like I feel like the grand story of it was more than just an ecchi anime. It was kind of like a whole adventure. And then like Love Hina is probably a good one too. Like I think those are probably down my like two favorites, like Ichigo 100% and then Love Hina.
I feel it. Yeah, it was like it just shared. It had like itchiness in it, but that wasn't like the main component of the story. There was other things revolving around it.
Yeah,
I could definitely see where you're coming from.
they're kind of like yeah, they were like ecchi harem, but like those two were genuinely good like romance stories too.
Yeah, they're like staples now. It's kind of like, I guess, I don't know, how do you describe it? Like, would you say it was like flavor of the decade, kind of like how
It kind
now
of
it's like the age of Sekai. Now it's like back then it was the age of like
it was.
horror.
I think it was kind of the thing. Like those. Like I definitely think like Love Hina was probably like the anime slash manga that kind of like really boosted that like harem, like ecchi, like like era of anime. Because I feel like after that, like everything was like coming out. Like To Love Ru came out like after that. Rosario Vampire was after that.
Mm-hmm.
Would Mocha-chan is also goated, so.
This is factual.
I actually had one of her. It wasn't like the full cross necklace, but like I had a miniature like Rosario Vampire necklace. I had in high school for like the longest time.
I remember when I saw it the first time, I was like, "Is that guy wearing an iron cross?"
I told you, Ryan. OG man of culture.
He had the tech.
But yeah, I don't know. It was kind of interesting. Like that actually like was a very prominent like time period for me, at least in terms of anime. Because like it kind of went from like, which was really interesting because like it went from like ecchi harem animes, and then it swung into like the moe era, or like kind of more of that style because of like Haruhi and like Keion and all that. So I was just like, it was such a weird transitional time of like kind of like the just different like things of like animes we were into.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I think like before, because it used to be like all shonen, and then once we got into ecchi, I started getting into more like romantic, like romance and like comedies and other stuff like that. So then like from there, that's kind of when I got into stuff like fruits baskets. What else was there? Like Baka to Tess. And this is when me and Chevez used to live with each other in college. We were kind of just watching everything. Like we watched like Soituken Senkyo to Chocolate. You remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Chocolate Elections. Yeah, yeah, and so it just kind of like branched out to like all these ones. Like I remember watching even back then, like stuff like Full Moon, like Washitage,
Mhm.
like DN Angel, Angel Beats. So like I feel like just from having
Yep.
started watching like Ichigo 100% and Love Hina, it kind of like branched out my interest in anime that were not like your typical like boy, like shonen, like
Yeah.
action animes. It kind
Mhm.
of like opened up that like other side of it, kind of like, you know, the more feelsy, the more emotional, the more romance, the more comedy. It kind of like opened up the anime world for me. Like I don't know if that's something that like kind of happened for you guys, or if there was like a transitional point for you guys. Because like I was saying, like I do remember a time I was only watching like Dragon Ball Z or like whatever else was like on TV, and then all these like super macho like action pack animes, and now all of a sudden it went from like watching those to like 90% of the time I'm watching like you know, romance or comedy or a slice of life, and it was just kind of like all over the place from there.
Me, that the series that did that for me was Gintama. I don't know if you guys heard of Gintama.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. Nice.
Amazing, dude.
Hey, I'm curious.
It's like-
I'm curious to see how this goes for Ryan.
Oh no, like I mean, like for me, Gintama was like I'd seen really cool fight scenes from it, you know,
Mhm.
and then I watched it and I was like, this is hilarious. So that what got me on my comedy kick, you know. But like the reason why I'm really in love with Gintama is because it's funny, and then you have these arcs that are super serious.
Yeah.
Then you have these fun arcs
Mm.
and these super serious arcs, you know. Like, and I just, but that like you know, that's why I like it. You know, cool world building. You know, it's like ancient Japan, there's aliens and stuff. It's funny, but then that
then
was
like
what
it
got
has
me
its-
into like comedy stuff. Like I like because I was like Emil, I was like, oh man, FMA, DBZ, you know, Bleach. You know, I
Gotta watch
just
all
started
the
getting
cool shows, right?
yeah, I just started getting into Hunter x Hunter, and then I watched Gintama, and I was like, I want to watch funny stuff, and I started watching. I think it's called The Everyday Life of High School Boys.
That
I've
was
seen that
really
one.
hell
good.
yeah, that one's a
Oh,
good
that
one.
was really good. Yeah.
Funny series like that, like shows like that. Plastic Nissan. Is it pronounced Nikijo? Nichijo?
Oh, Nichijou, I think.
Nichijou.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That's a freaking hilarious one. When I started watching, that gave me the same vibes recently. Asiobase. Have you guys seen that?
Asio Bossy? It seems very familiar.
It's about like these three girls who like have like a club after school, and they're just like absolute psychotics.
I'll
It's
have to
so
check it out later. Yeah, I feel like I probably have come across it on my anime list or something, but I've never gotten
Yeah.
around to watching it.
oh, man, it
That
was
also just
so-
reminds me of like me and Chavez over here. We went through like a Setokai phase.
Oh yeah,
We're-
Setsukai, hell yeah.
we
dude.
were only watching student council animes for like a
Yeah.
year. It was so funny. But
Big
they're
box.
so good.
Yup. Oh man.
Have you ever watched any of them, Ryan? Like, was it Setokai no Ichizon or like Setokai Yakundono?
I can't say I have. I think the only like student and like the student council kind of thing I watched was, I mean, you know, you were talking about it in the Discord earlier, freaking Orin High School Host Club kind of deal.
Mhm.
Like that's stuff I would watch.
Bro,
You know, like
Orin
no,
High
and
School Club is my like all-time guilty pleasure anime. I don't understand why I love the anime so much, but I have watched it 5 times.
it's funny.
And I've seen the live action movie or like series like twice.
Oh, live action series? What?
There's the live action Oran High School Host Club. You can't mess with
Dang.
my boy Honey Senpai. He's adorable, man.
Emil's locked in. He's like, I don't know what the hell they're giving it to me, but shit, he's in it.
I don't think
I don't know what it was about it. Like I watched it the first time and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And then like a year or two later, I just ended up rewatching it. Just kind of every other like couple years, I just end up rewatching the whole series.
I hear
Ooh,
it. I hear
a
it.
series I like that with it's called Ghost Hunt. You guys heard of Ghost Hunt?
Mhm.
Ghost Hunt?
It's with Todd Habercorn. Do you guys know who that is? Todd Habercorn?
Yeah, I know Todd Habercorn.
Todd
I met
Habercorn.
him.
Do you know who? Oh, did you?
This one, okay.
Yeah, dude. We met
Yeah,
him
yeah.
at,
Ghost Hunt.
anime
That's a good one, dude. Ghost Hunt. I think we met him together at Midwest because he was definitely there while we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, wait a second, okay, yeah. Didn't you get his autograph, or am I tripping?
No, I got Shinji's autograph.
Oh, that's right. You got Shinji's. There we go. I was like, I remember at Midwest. I was like, I remember you were going around and you were like, oh, I got somebody's autograph, but my fucking name's blanking. Yeah.
Oh, the autograph that I should have gotten and I didn't because I'm just like, I was over there like chewing on wires or something. Was when you guys interviewed Christina V. She's like favorite. Christina V. Like
we'll come back to that Christina V story.
Yeah,
I know that will come back. But Christina V. You know, Erica Mendez. I love seeing Latinos in voiceover. You know, so that's great. But
Latinos in the house.
Todd Habercorn was in it. And Jeremy Lee, she voices Lucy Hartfilia in Fairy Tale. Oh, I didn't even think about that. She does Lucy and he's Natsu. But it's about ghosts. It's like literally like, you know, like what a like, you know, like a travel channels like Ghost Hunt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
like
that's like Ghost Adventures or whatever.
Real. Yeah, Ghost Adventures. This would be if it was real. So good. That's a series that like every couple months I'll go back and rewatch the whole thing.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, everyone has that like guilty pleasure anime, whether if it's good or bad, like you just watch it so many times.
Yeah.
You have one, Chevez?
The one that I go back to all the time?
It's like even if it's like trashy or like, you know, like whatever, like you still like go back and rewatch it just because you just love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, well, Fullmetal Alchemist for sure, because like I said before, it was one of my favorites. I had mentioned To Lover too. Like every couple of years, I'll go back and just read everything. But like when it's like an actual legit
To Lover is your guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I would have to say out of the two though, I would have to say To Lover. Yeah, I just fucking love it. It's just
Fullmetal Alchemist is like it's too goated to be a guilty pleasure. Like
I was gonna say like if I had to pick between the two, it'd have to be To Lover. I don't know. I just love it. I just love it. The cast is lovable.
If people know me like in person and I'd be like, yeah, I've watched or in high school like 5 times. I'd be like, why? Why would you do that? I'm just like, I don't know. I just love all the characters. Like, this is such a good ensemble of like a cast.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like funny enough. Like it had its funny moments. It had like its serious moments, and like it was just character development and everything. Like I know a lot of people don't like it because they're like, oh, they're just like whatever of a show. But I'm so like, I think it's fantastic.
Nah, man, I'm the same way with X Arms, bro. That's my guilty pleasure. When I do something bad and I make myself watch
we ain't gonna be friends after this, Ryan. I can't be friends with no one who has a X Arms.
That's not a guilty pleasure, bro. That's a sin at that point.
Yeah, for real.
That's the 11th commandment. Don't watch X Arms.
Dude, you would have to like force me like to watch X Arms. Like I feel like I could not sit down and watch it. Just from looking at the trailer, I'm just all like, no.
Would have to like trap you and then bribe you hardcore, and even then it'd be a hard fight.
You need to watch the first episode.
We can get a live reaction. It'll be like, all right, we're gonna watch this.
As it's happening.
All right, whatever you say, man.
So, you know, but like I think we can kind of wrap it up there. Like I know there's a ton of other genres, but like I think those are the ones that, you know, that we covered, like the series that mean the most to us, you know, kind of where we got started in terms of watching anime, and kind of our transitionary periods between like those, you know, going from Saturday morning, Friday night cartoons all the way up to like, what do I stream right now? You know, I think it was cool to hear what you guys started out watching and like how we were all different in terms of like what anime got us into this.
And
you know,
I think we all have like that different experience too, right? Because I feel like Chevez here, he's probably been the most consistent of like watching anime throughout all his life. At least for me, like there was a couple years, like in the last couple of years, I like only recently got back into anime. There was like a good like 3 to 4 year period where I wasn't really watching any anime, but now I'm like fully like back into only watching like anime again type of deal. Like, I don't know about you, Ryan. Did you have something similar to that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When I was in college, I stopped watching anime almost entirely. And that was because I was like, I wanted to voice act so bad that watching anime hurt.
Oh. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, so I stopped watching it. But then, you know, anime is essentially kind of like what keeps my head cool when things kind of go crazy. And it's just a nice way to decompress. So now, like you and me, I'm back into it like full time, you know, just like I'm going to throw this on and just watch whatever's on.
It's like it I feel like what was different was like we have our we have our support system now of like all of us. Like we're all kind of like talking about anime again, like since we're like talking more frequently and like even other people. Like I feel like that was the missing thing for me. Like I miss talking to people about anime. Like I think once that was kind of like gone for me, it was kind of like what led to like the decline of what I was watching.
Yeah.
But not all we
No,
talk
no,
about anime because we're a bunch of degenerates.
absolutely, as it should be.
And I never left. I've just been
Yeah,
stuck.
just like he's like, I was waiting for you guys to come back.
He's like,
Yeah, I was just stuck in the mines. I was just like, all right, whatever. I'm chilling.
Chavez, you're like the Bernie Sanders meme. You're just sitting in a chair waiting for us to come back.
Yeah, for real. I'm like, all right, I got you.
While he's sitting on his throne over here, his anime throne, his waifu, his Dakimakuri throne.
Yeah, for with all my dockies, wall scrolls. Ooh.
So out of the big three, Chevez is my favorite, bro.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Out of me, Chevez and Emil, I say Chevez.
So is there any like before we go, like, is there any like newer anime you would recommend people to kind of check out?
The Ghost Whisperer, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt, of course.
I would say for me, I would definitely recommend Jujutsu Kaisen. It's
Yeah,
also one of the shonens. I forgot to mention that one earlier.
I wanted to mention Jujutsu Kaisen earlier when we were talking about Shonen 2. I was actually gonna say like that one. I feel like has the potential to
Be huge.
Yeah,
I think it's already gonna be huge, but like it does have that like potential to hit that like status of like the big three or like the big five, I guess, or whatever.
definitely.
It is in the big seven or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say aside from that though, from like what's also like showing right now, Horimiya is also a really good one. That one's back in kind of high school, but it's got like a slow burner romance that is really good. You can also do Jaku Kara Tomozaki-kun, I think. That one's some more interesting kind of take on like the loner aspect. And then probably for my last recommendation, just to keep it simple at 3, you can do The Last Dungeon Maue no Mura. I'm probably butchering its name, but it's that one's an interesting one too. It's kind of interesting premise regarding, let's take a brand new adventurer from a very strong land and put him at like the beginning village you can imagine of
It's like when Emil does all the side quests in Final Fantasy first and then goes on to the first quest.
yeah, for real. It's like you do all the side stories, you get all the loot and everything, then you finally show up to the chapter and they're like
one shot the bosses and everything.
hell
Mother, you want to fight me? I see.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, prepare yourself. You're about to get rocked.
Yeah. No, further, yeah, it's like you would think because overpowered and all that shit, it'd be, it'd probably like, damn, this is gonna be a drag. But the cast is pretty cool, and so far everything's pretty nice in it. So I would say I would leave those 3.
You have anything, Ryan, you want to?
I mean, it's not a newer series for sure, but I've been getting back on the bandwagon with Black Clover.
Hmm.
I've heard many good things about it. I just haven't like gotten a chance to start.
It's like Naruto with white hair, the main character. That all that dude does is scream, bro. Either in whatever worlds they're in, whatever race he is the equivalent of a Latin person. And I can say that because I'm Puerto Rican and Mexican. But he screams every line, and it just reminds you of like Naruto English dub. I don't have 3. I'd say, man.
I mean,
well, yeah. You haven't watched Konosuba yet. Watch Konosuba, but definitely Rent a Girlfriend. Yeah. I know that sounds really weird. Like the title, it threw me off too. But I watched it. It was actually one of the best slice of life animes I've seen in a very long time.
It's Nami-chan.
On the streets, bro. You know what? You call me Division then. You know.
Oh,
you played for that one.
He's my boy. He out here wilding just like Nami-chan.
he had Northern Division right now. That's what he is.
And Damon Division, man. Right there where Wicker Park becomes Humble Park.
I love it.
It's so funny.
What about you, Emil? What are 3 you think people should take a look at of these recent ones?
For sure, Jujutsu Kaisen. I think that has like the most potential out of like everything new. Haikyuu. If people haven't started Haikyuu, like the
Mhm.
lovable characters, it's like it's one of those animes, right? Where or even like stories where normally in sports animes or even like other like shows in general, you love the main like characters, but then like the like opposing teams or whatever, you're like, oh, I hate them or whatever. Like they're like scumbags or like they're like you hate the other opposing teams, right? Haikyuu has been the only anime I feel like in a long time where no matter which team they're facing off against in Haikyuu, like every single character is like lovable or likable in its own sense. Like it's kind of crazy. Like every team, you're like, oh yeah, that guy is so cool, or that guy's story is really cool, or like this guy's a really good volleyball player, or and like the characters are just so well done. So it is kind of a long haul because I think there's like 4 seasons now. But Haikyuu is definitely one I would recommend to watch. Haikyuu, Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh man, do I have a third one?
Quintessential quintuplets.
I was about to joke around and say that earlier.
Nice.
I would probably say those two for sure. And then like, if you haven't like hopped on the Demon Slayer, like bandwagon yet, I definitely like don't be afraid of like the mainstream like, oh, it's like too mainstream or it's like overhyped or whatever. Like it is a really good show. I think people would actually really enjoy. Oh, and
nice.
then, actually, The King's Avatar. Go watch The King's Avatar. Chinese anime. I said it last episode, and I will say it in this episode until all y'all watch it. The King's Avatar is so good.
And it's all on YouTube, so you can watch it.
It is all on YouTube.
We'll post the link in the show notes below.
Yeah, it's like the olden days. Everything's on YouTube.
Or they would upload whole series of anime, but they put like a tiny little screen, so you have to like watch it in the corner, so it didn't get copyright.
Like actual like full screen provided.
Oh yeah.
Tencent's the goat, man.
Yeah, because they're like, who cares? They could pirate it for all I want. We'll put it there for free.
It's really good though. Like the pacing is really good. Like if I come from like watching the light, I don't know, what's it called? Live action. I was like, dude, my mind was like light novel. And
you're like watching a light novel. What?
Yeah, live action.
Boy.
So the live action, I came from there. So like it covered more of the story in the live action, and it was a little bit of a slower burn. But like the pacing and like the animations and like how they do all the fight scenes and everything of the anime is done so cleanly. Like the production company working on it is doing like phenomenal with it.
Well, you heard it first here, folks, for the second time. King's Avatar, because I'm gonna hop on that one too. All I have is free time nowadays, so got lots of things to watch. But thank you all for joining us for our second episode of Weebuwus. We know what the name is now. So yeah, we hope you all enjoy the rest of your day or night or whenever you're listening to this, and we'll catch you again in the next episode. See you later. Hey everybody, Ryan here. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Just wanted to let you know that if you want some more Weebuwuu in your life, or you just want to get in contact with us, make sure to check out our socials. Links to the socials will be located in the show notes. As always, we hope to see you at the next episode. Whatever happened to that?